Before we begin, I want to be very clear about something. This video is not about accusing anyone of any criminal wrongdoing. This is a commentary and media ethics discussion based on available content and broader research into parasocial grief, digital legacy, and monetized illness content online. Some viewers see these videos as deeply meaningful documentation. Others feel they raise difficult ethical questions. This video explores those questions. What happens when a terminal illness becomes a content category? When grief becomes engagement, when decline becomes a storyline, and when a dying person's final days become part of an algorithm that is monetized. Over the past several years, YouTube has quietly created a new genre of content, what some critics have called the death arc. These are channels where illness, decline, grief, memorialization, and audience attachment merge into something emotionally powerful, but also ethically complicated. And almost no story illustrates those tensions more than the public conversation surrounding the Apple's channel and Jenny Appleford's final cancer journey. Many followed Jenny's cancer journey from the early days to the days where she had to tell her children she had cancer, and to the days in which her cancer progressed and into her dying days. Jenny and her family received much love and support as she entered the final months of her life. And some began asking a much darker question. At what point does documenting suffering become monetizing it? And later in this video, we're going to talk about something almost no one discusses: the emerging legal debate around children appearing in monetized grief content, and why lawmakers are suddenly paying attention. For most of human history, death was private. It happened inside of homes and churches, inside of hospitals and families. But social media changed that. Platforms now reward emotional immediacy. The algorithm favors authenticity, vulnerability, intensity, and prolonged audience engagement. And a terminal illness naturally creates all of those things. Think about the structure. There's uncertainty. There are setbacks. There's hope. There's fear. There's community support. And there are emotional updates. There's a serialized narrative that audiences become very emotionally invested in. Researchers studying parasocial relationships have found that viewers often begin to feel personally connected to creators they watch over long periods of time. So when illness enters the picture, viewers don't experience it like spectators. They experience it emotionally, almost relationally. But where this becomes ethically difficult is when the illness itself starts functioning almost like a content engine. The Apple's channel, formerly Jenny Apple, became one of YouTube's most visible cancer journeys, documented in real time. Supporters viewed the content as honest, raw, and deeply human. Many viewers found comfort, inspiration, and community through Jenny's openness about her diagnosis and treatment. But as her condition worsened, a parallel conversation emerged online. Critics began questioning the ethics of filming moments of visible decline, vulnerability, and grief for a monetized platform. Some viewers expressed discomfort with how public the final stages of illness had become. Others argued that documenting reality, even painful reality, can help people feel less alone in their own medical journeys. And that's where this becomes complicated, because this isn't a simple story about good versus evil. It's really a story about what happens when human tragedy collides with platform incentives. One of the more emotionally charged parts of this debate involves monetization. Modern creator platforms don't just host emotional content, they financially reward it. AdSense, Super Thanks, Super Chats, memberships, live stream donations, sponsorship engagement, increased watch time, GoFundMe. The more emotionally invested an audience becomes, the more financially valuable that engagement can become. Emotions were shaped with urgency in titles, close-up tears, hospital updates, the last this or that, and please pray requests. And this all creates some difficult ethical questions. One of the primary questions being, can a platform unintentionally incentivize the public broadcasting of suffering? To be clear, earning revenue from vulnerable storytelling is not automatically unethical. Many creators genuinely use platforms to document illness, raise awareness, support their family, or build community through many impossible situations. But critics argue there's still an uncomfortable tension when the algorithm rewards escalating emotional intensity. And the next part may be the most unsettling part of the conversation, because lawmakers are now starting to ask that if children who are part of monetized content deserve financial protections similar to child actors. One emerging debate centers around children appearing in monetized online content during periods of family tragedy. Across the United States, lawmakers have started examining whether children featured heavily in family vlogs should receive legal protection similar to traditional child performers. The concern is not simply about money, it's about permanence. Children who grow up online may one day inherit a massive digital archive of deeply personal moments that they never meaningfully consented to share publicly. And in grief-related content, that question becomes even more emotionally sensitive. What happens when childhood trauma, loss, or mourning becomes permanent internet content attached to monetized engagement? Some argue that these videos preserve memory and legacy. Others believe certain moments should remain private. There are no easy answers here. The deeper issue here may not be any one creator, but the system itself. The larger industry, cancer journeys, terminal vlogs, grief channels, memorial content, is a multi-million-dollar content category. Platforms are built to maximize clicks, retention, emotional engagement, and repeat viewing. And human suffering naturally generates all four. And illness creates suspense. YouTube's incentive structure rewards engagement, not dignity. Grief creates emotional bonding, and loss creates community response. and the algorithm often amplifies the most emotionally intense material. So maybe the real question isn't, should families document illness? Maybe the harder question is, what happens when digital platforms financially reward the public performance of grief? Because once that incentive structure exists, the line between documenting suffering and commodifying suffering can start to become very blurry. I want to end this very carefully and very respectfully. Terminal illness affects real families, real children, and real grief. Many families who followed these journeys did so out of real compassion and real care. This video is not about attacking people experiencing real grief and facing unimaginable loss. It's about asking difficult questions about the systems that we've built online and whether the internet has quietly turned vulnerability into a form of content currency. I'd genuinely like to hear your thoughts respectfully in the comments. Where do you think the line exists between documenting tragedy and monetizing it? And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I'll be doing more deep dives into subjects such as this. And I appreciate you being here with me and watching my video. See you in the next.